All right, welcome back. So in the last video, we spoke about that there's 4 different types of personalities, and now hopefully you started to understand that a little bit better. In this video, I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper. Now, I must explain before I share what I'm about to share, I must give credit to Tony Robbins for this particular model. This isn't my model, this is from Tony Robbins, world-renowned life coach. And Tony Robbins adapted Maslow's hierarchy of needs into what he calls the 6 human needs. And what I want you to kind of think about is that every single person that comes through your door, whatever is their personality profile, whether they're air, whether they're earth, whether they're water, whether they're fire, for them to get results, for them to have a great experience, for them to stick around for the long term, therefore, so you can have a really highly profitable gym that does well and is really performing well and is really making a difference, you have to know that every single person has 6 needs, all in a different order. We all have these needs, and it's really important that if we want to have more people stick around long term in our gym, we have to meet these needs. If we don't meet these needs, or we meet a few of the needs but not all of them, we might find that people leave. However, when we meet all of these needs in no particular order, we will find that we have a much higher stick rate, and also we have a much higher percentage of people getting great results, having great experience, telling other people about the gym, and therefore you really winning as a gym. So, first human need, again, make notes. First need of every gym member is the need for certainty. What that means is everybody that comes through your door needs to feel certain that if they join, when they join, that they're going to get results. And so much else, that they're going to be looked after, that they're going to feel comfortable, that they're not going to be worried about people judging them and so on, right? So we have to make sure that people feel certain. One of the ways I found to do it is to ensure that you make sure that people have some way of measuring their results. Even if they say that's not something they're interested in. You want to kind of challenge people when they join your club, if they've been there for a while. How's your training going? Are you where you wanted to be at this stage in your journey? And if they don't have an answer, maybe you want to have a conversation with them about starting to track their results. You may have heard that saying, what gets measured gets done. I'm not going to talk too much about tracking results here because you're all fitness professionals. You all know what I mean, whether that's devices, whether that's MyZone and Fitbit and things like that. The point is, measuring performance increases the likelihood of the result. Just like if you check your bank account, it's more likely to trend in the right direction than the wrong direction, right? So you want to make sure people feel certain. Next is you must give people variety. What is the saying, right? Variety is the spice of life. You've got to make sure that people feel that they have a different experience. So you want to make sure that if you're not doing this already, that your members, you're encouraging them to try different things. I've found one of the biggest things that sees people leave a club is often they get bored. They become demotivated, and often that's just because they need variety. I find that when I get bored, because I've got a bit of an awareness, I know that's a clue I need to change something. But not all your members have got the awareness to do that. Like this year, at the time of doing this video, I'm doing a high rocks. I haven't done that before. The reason I'm doing it is because I got bored. I thought I need a challenge. So we all need to make sure that our members feel they're getting challenges. You want to make sure that you're focusing and giving them variety. Next, we've got to make our members feel significant. One of the easiest ways to do this, I remember working with a really big, well-known gym chain many years ago, and they were blown away when I said, you need to start using the names more. I said, when people walk through the door, I've observed your team, and they don't use the name. Maybe they do on the first, hey, Steve, nice to meet you, and then they don't say it again. I said, when I tour people around, on average, I say the person's name at least 20 times. And I remember a trainer once said, isn't that overkill? Are they not going to get tired of that? Nobody gets tired of hearing the sound of their name. Nobody will think it's a tactic. As long as well as, especially that your energy's in the right place and you're like, I must use their name because Miles said so as a sales tactic. Don't do that. If you are doing that, don't say that I gave you some form of training, all right? Don't do that. You want to make people feel special. You want to make people feel important. You want to make people feel like you really care, because you should. That's why you're in this business, right? So make sure you make people feel special. Make sure you show them that you care. Next, a bit of a link to the last one is connection. Got to make people feel connected. Got to make them feel like you really care about them. My mum was amazing at this when she ran her gym, which she managed for 20 years in Chesterfield. My mum did little things like members could bring in their own CD on a Sunday. Now, I know we don't live in those times anymore, right? But maybe you could, maybe you could run, if you're not already running, member parties, right? My mum once ran a Christmas party in August, random. And she used to also run like chili nights and all this kind of stuff that maybe you don't do anymore. But why not? Why couldn't you do a night out for the gym, or you're going to do some kind of fitness event in the gym, or you're going to run a marathon as a gym? I don't know, but I'm just saying, make people feel connected, make them feel part of something. And then number 5 is people need to grow. This is an obvious one. People got to grow. This links definitely to the certainty one. Got to make people feel certain that they're going to grow. And the best way to do that is make sure they're getting results. And then the last one is contribution. This is a really powerful way to get people to stick around long term. I remember many years ago, tell you a quick story. Many years ago, had an aspiration to have a six-pack. Never had one before. I tried and tried and tried to get a six-pack. And then what I did is I did a fitness challenge. And I told all my friends and family, I'm doing this fitness challenge, raising money, blah, blah, blah. And I did this fitness challenge, and lo and behold, as a byproduct, I got a six-pack. And then what happened is, friends and family started asking me for fitness advice. And all of a sudden I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. People are now seeing me as a role model. So you want to encourage your members to see themselves as a role model to their kids, to their partner, to their friends, to their family. So it's like, get in the best shape of your life so that you inspire all the other people around you. Plus, as a gym, that's going to do wonders for your referrals. Because if you have loads of people before and after getting great results, that's inevitably going to knock on, where those people at home are going to go, what have you been eating? And they'll be like, I've been working out at insert your name gym, right? So you want to make sure that people feel that they are making a contribution to their life that is bigger than just them getting a six-pack. Because when I tried to get a six-pack, I didn't get one. But when it became about inspiring and motivating other people, lo and behold, that became the thing that just happened as a byproduct. So anyway, hope you found this one useful. In the next video, you're going to love the last one. We're going to talk about what are some really key fundamental things that you can say on a tour that increases the probability that people join. What used to work, I found doesn't work anymore. It's too long. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got these simple things. 3 simple things that if you start to bring this into your conversation when you show people around, much higher probability that they'll actually join on the day. So you're going to love the next video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. See you on the next video. See you there.